we're recording, don't be nervous.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
So you don't know this, but the plan here is to talk about how to be the ultimate geek parent. Wait a second. Is that a positive thing if I were to say how to be a geek parent?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, I think really empowering parents to use technology in a smart way, because those geek parents exist. It's just that it's intimidating to a lot of moms and dads, right? Because there's a lot to learn.
So I'm on the right path here.
Absolutely.
Speaking of path, we're in my car, and I love Amber so much. We just talked for about a half an hour before I pressed play. I should have pressed play while we were talking, but
we said some things. Maybe a good idea you didn't.
Amber Mack, if you don't know, is, I think I would call you a futurist. Would that be an accurate way of describing who you are, in the sense that you are not only very comfortable with technology today, you're always looking and trying to understand the trends and the technology of tomorrow?
Yes, or you can explain it like this: I'm always a little bit too early to the game.
It's true, right?
Yes, I've been working on timing over the course of my career, but sometimes I feel like I am early on as far as adopting new technologies and understanding where media is going. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, we live in a super exciting time.
So I've known you for what, like 7 years, 8 years? Is that
a while?
We
Yeah.
met at some event, and you were cool, and I was like, "Come and join YMC," and you're saying, "Well, maybe a little bit, but I'm kind of busy." But what I don't understand about you yet, because I never asked you this in person.
Oh boy.
Is where did you get this tech thing? Like, how did you? Because that's an unusual thing. You know, it's sexist. Being a tech geek and female is unusual, and being so tech obsessed years ago, like a decade ago, more than a decade. Was it like 15 years now that you've been doing
a good 15
tech
years.
reporting?
Yeah.
So how did you stumble on this? Or maybe that's the wrong word. It's not stumble. How did you laser focus in on that?
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, I did a master's in journalism, and I worked for CBC for a while, and I was doing news reporting. Now, it became very clear to me after a few months that I just don't have the personality to do news. I get too emotional if something's happened to someone, if there's a fire and it's burnt someone's home down. I can't do it. I can't detach.
You're also not a puppet.
I'm not a puppet, and I can't detach from that story. Simultaneously, my mom taught computers when I was in school.
What?
Yeah, she actually taught computers, which is very unusual, but she taught computers in night school, and we always had some of the early computers in our home, starting when I was in probably junior high or high school. So she was really savvy with computers. That was also unusual.
So you had a geek mom.
I had a total geek mom. She's still a geek mom. She's in her early 70s, and she sends me messages, and she has emojis and everything. Sometimes she just sends emojis.
I have a geek mom too.
I know you do.
This is awesome. I'm so glad you're in my car with me.
I know, this is so true. Your mom is a huge geek.
So you started off in tech because your mom was in technology.
Yeah.
And then you just really gravitated to it.
Yeah.
But what is it that obsesses you so much, or obsessed you before, that now has made you sort of pretty much a superstar in the tech world?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the promise of something new and the promise of something better, right? You know, with technology, what I loved about reporting on it is that it never ends. There's always something new coming down the pipeline that hopefully will enrich our lives. So I love that idea. Or stress us out. But I think there's a lot of innovation always happening in technology, and it was always very exciting for me. There's actually a term called a neophiliac, people who are addicted to new things, and I'm a little bit like that. I love the idea of shiny new things and technologies.
It sounds kind of hot.
It is.
Neophiliac.
Yeah, it's hot. It's like a geeky hot word.
Okay, this guy just put on his leaf blower.
What? Doesn't he know we're recording?
Can you turn that? Excuse me. We're recording here. Could you just turn off the leaf blower for a sec? We're actually recording a show.
Shoot, sorry.
Thank you.
It's okay.
He's really hot, by the way.
I was going to say something, and I thought you would think that I was rude. I was like, so who's the guy doing your lawn?
Okay, look. Wait, let me just show the book. So it's backwards. Will that fix your tech? No, you're only going to see it backwards because
it's okay.
It's on my phone?
No, they'll be able to read it. Just Outsmarting Your Kids Online. They should be okay.
If I held it like this, would it make it easier?
I don't know.
Amber wrote a book.
Yes.
And you wrote a book called Outsmarting Your Kids Online, a safety handbook for overwhelmed parents. And it's written by you, but also Michael Bazell.
Yes, Michael Bazell.
Who's this guy?
So we met last year, and he is a former FBI cyber crimes investigator.
By the way.
So amazing credentials in this space. And we met, he was a security advisor on a show called Mr. Robot, which is a really great geeky cyber hacking show that I absolutely loved. I interviewed him on one of my shows, and then he came to Toronto, and I was chatting with him, and he was saying when he goes out to speak at events, the number one question he gets asked, even though they're corporate events, is, what do I do with my kid online? Because I'm worried about them using this service or that service. He really wanted to write a book. I said, this is perfect for me because I'm also a parent. He's not a parent. So coming together, we were able to tackle both sides of this. So me from the parenting and technology side, and him from the side that there are some real dangers out there. And while he was at the FBI, he had to deal with some of the really negative consequences of what happens when kids get in trouble on the internet. So he scared me a little bit when we were writing, and I tried to take it back and soften it a bit.
Okay, so scary stuff. Just give it to me straight right now, because I have a tween and a teen. They are, I think, smart online, but are they?
Well, I think the thing that worried me the most as I was reading some of the stuff that Michael would contribute to the book is that blackmailing is happening so often in the social media space. And what I mean by that, and there have been plenty of high-profile cases, that let's say that your daughter starts chatting with someone, and then that individual says, hey, lift up your shirt, and then takes a picture, then that person could then say to your daughter, hey, unless you do that again or meet up with me, I'm going to send that photo to your parents. And so they blackmail them.
Okay, but first of all, I think that's not a tech issue.
No,
that is don't lift your shirt up.
Yes.
Ever. I mean, that's a parenting thing, not a tech. Am I right?
Well, that is true, but I think what happens with technology is it enables people and young people to feel powerful and to be able to connect and do things they wouldn't normally do because of the ease of use. It's simple for someone to go on to Snapchat or even direct messaging on Instagram and send an inappropriate photo. So technology is an enabler in this case, but you're right, parenting and doing a good job is the number one thing. Unfortunately, technology makes it too easy for people to have these conversations.
So being a hip mom, Snapchat, if now they've done something so that if you take a screenshot, you're actually told that someone has taken a screenshot of one of your images, right? That's a new feature.
Yes. So that happens on Snapchat. I think it's been around for a little bit, but at least it notifies the person.
Me look bad here.
No. I believe it's been around. This is my way of getting out of everything. I believe in the past few months, perhaps there were changes, but nonetheless, I think that's a feature that notifies that person if someone Snapchats something or sends an image and they take a screenshot of it. But I think with Snapchat, again, it comes back to the reality that it's so easy for people to share something because they think it's going to go away forever.
But again, I would say, I guess, a safety handbook for overwhelmed parents to outsmart your kids online. It's also to smarten up your kids online.
And maybe smarten you up. I mean, Erica, we've seen this. This is my number one pet peeve, is that even though we're talking about kids on the internet, I've seen parents who are bullying people online. Drives me insane. What kind of role model are you to children if you're out there bullying other people? I see it on Twitter every single day.
Oh, I saw it on Facebook, on someone's Facebook page about 2 weeks ago, and everybody was like, did you see? Same thing, right? Lifting your top up or bullying, same thing. Equally horrible.
And I think parents don't necessarily set a good example for their kids, and I think it's time that parents do exactly that. In the book we talk about having a list of rules as far as online etiquette and rules to follow in the home, and get together with your kids and establish these rules, but you also have to follow them.
Well, I thought that was interesting because you do have a contract of some sort.
Yes.
But there's a contract for the kids and there's a contract for the parents, and I like that because, for example, in my house, there's a rule where you cannot be on the phone at dinner.
Yeah.
And the phone would ring, and my husband, Terry, would start to go for his phone, and we'd all look at him, and I'd say to him, if you do it, the kids will do it.
Oh, absolutely.
You cannot have double standards.
Absolutely. And I think we're also forgetting that it happens at a young age as far as when kids start using technology in the home. And we interviewed Allison Schaefer in the book. She's a parenting expert. She's fantastic. And one of the things she said, which really hit home, is that when kids are little, you teach them all the time, like, Erica, if I come to your house and I give you something, you say thank you. And yet we give them devices when they're really little and we don't teach them anything. We just hand them over. This is like a babysitter, right? So it's time, starting at a very young age, that kids understand understand, I'm giving you this device and you can have it for X number of minutes and then it's going away. And these are the rules in the home, and you have to start that when they're 3, 4, 5 years old.
But do you do that with your son, since you are online all the time and your husband are like, you're holding tech devices all the time? This is a book, I know, but you know, if you were holding a tech device, that, how do you then tell your son that there's a limit to the amount of time he's allowed online when you're always online?
Well, no, that's a really good
Mommy's
point.
working.
Yeah, you know, Mommy's working, but I would say I am also pretty good at just kind of putting my phone away, and anyone who tries to email me knows this for real. Sometimes I don't get back to people for a couple days, and sometimes it means I'm spending quality time with my son, and I know that drives people insane, but I have to, or else I won't be able to engage with him. So there's two things. I do it, and he's like, Mom, you're always on your phone, blah, blah, blah. But I do try to set it aside at certain points and not look at it.
It's hard because, you know what, you write a book like this, which is backwards, but the reality is you're giving us really great ideas, and then we have to take it and make it resonate for our own families.
Totally. It's not a one-size-fit-all thing, and I would say the book really dives in. You know, all the chapters are based on Facebook, Instagram. It's more of a how-to, explaining what Snapchat is, how it works, what you need to be aware of.
Parents, should they be lurking? Should they be friending their kids online? Because I know Josh will not. He's like, no, Mom. I asked him about 14 times to be my friend on Snapchat, and I said, I'll just like lurk. I won't even talk. I won't embarrass you. No, but my daughter, she's all over it, and she's actually my only Snapchat friend.
I'll be Snapchat friends with
you. She's working me into it. But do you think that it's important that parents are friends with each of their or following on their accounts?
I think so. I mean, it's going to depend on your child, right? And I think that's why, to your point, it depends on your kid. You know, how much do you think you can trust them? How mature are they in this space? Do you believe that they won't be talking to strangers? For the most part, a lot of parents, I think, should monitor their kids to some extent, especially if they're young, you know, in their early teens. You need to pay attention to what they're doing, because even if they're a good kid, it's very easy for them to get in trouble. So I'd say that was one issue. Another great story I have is a few years ago, I was at a conference, and this woman said to me that her teens wouldn't be friends with her on Facebook. So she went onto Facebook and she created a profile as the family's dog. The dog's name is Marley. And then everyone in the community wanted to be friends with the dog. They thought it was super cool. And she updated the account like, Marley's doing this, Marley's doing that. It's just like a creative way to get involved in the process without embarrassing your children. And I think that's what it takes for everyone, is that extra push, that extra step to do something to ensure you're part of that conversation, but maybe, you know, give them a little bit of privacy as well.
I like that. That really is outsmarting your kids.
It is.
Dumb kids. They let the dog as their Facebook friend. You stupid kids.
Mom knew everything. She was like, Amber, she's like, not only are my kids friends with the dog, all their friends are friends with the dog. They tell the dog stuff. And I'm like, this is the best story I've ever heard. It's awesome.
Okay, listen, I could talk to you forever.
Me too.
But I think that, just if we can wrap it up, in order for someone to be a geek parent and keep their kids safe online, ultimately, what are your key points then? Like, because I really talked a lot and I didn't let you talk that much.
No, I think we hit on a lot of the different issues. I would say the number one thing is to have rules in the home as far as device usage. And remember, it's okay to parent and to own that, because you're probably paying the bill at the end of the day, and it's okay to say, hey, these are the rules, and put those rules in place at a very young age. I think that's the number one thing. Number two thing is, don't ignore the technology trends that exist out there. So if you know that Snapchat's a big thing, or Musical.ly, download it on your phone and start to use it. And ask your kid, how do I use it? Maybe they don't want to be friends with you, but you should understand that this is how these tools work, right? And then I would say the third thing is just to monitor and check in with your kids on a regular basis, and don't shut the door. If you find something online that you're upset about, don't go up and start screaming at your child and say, no more technology. Remember, this is the way they communicate with their social networks, and they're going to be very upset if they're cut off. So we have to take measured approaches. So, you know, in the book, I think it's a very fair look at how to do all of those things.
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting combination of tech and parenting.
Absolutely,
because ultimately you're parenting, and tech is, as you said, the enabler. It's the gadget. But really, it's how you parent is paramount.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have a whole section of the book called Parent Patrol, which is all about that, is like what parents need to understand about online etiquette and all those other things, because it is parenting. And I think too many parents have just said that, hey, you know, the kids these days, I don't know what they're doing and I'm not going to get involved. You can't throw your hands up. I mean, there's too many unfortunate headlines about bullying happening, and you think, oh, well, I don't think my kid's being bullied. Well, what if they're the bully? Right?
Right.
Like, there are kids who are the bullies, and they have parents, so you need to also control that situation.
She says that with a smile. Isn't she charming? Amber Mack. Okay, so you can find Amber really on every social
Pretty
platform
much.
in the world, and in my car.
Yes, and in the car, and you can get the book on Amazon.
Here it is upside down again.
Yeah, Outsmarting Your Kids Online.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's turn it off.